Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Welcome to We Are Perfectionists webinar live. And just recently, I've kind of taken myself a little bit too seriously. And I had a great phone call the other day that just lit me up. And it's the first time I found myself laughing. And I was laughing my head off. And we were kind of comparing of like where I want to be. And what I want to do with these webinars and kind of obviously reaching an audience. And it was a friend of mine called Rebecca that she's done a course with me, and we just hit it off. You know, when you get that energy with somebody. But this young lady, great hairdresser, great hair cutter, and we were sitting there. I said, "What have I got to do? What have I got to do to kind of get a little bit more like out there?" You know, and she was like, "Well, what we could do, Daniel, we could shave your head into a blue Mohican, and then we could dress you in a tweed suit. I mean, and then you'll just smash it." I was just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. We can only be ourselves, right? We can only be ourselves. I don't want to be a cartoon character or anything like that, but we can only be ourselves. Oh, I've changed my t-shirt today, guys. So I'm now in black, as it's going to be a hot day. And us hairdressers love to wear black. I've got my sponsors on the back of my shirt there. Look, Exacto. And I've got a keto on the other side. So I'm enjoying that. I've got Dan Thomas, my best friend, in my ear. He's going to be talking it through. He's going to be reading some of your questions for me. Now, we have hair talk at the end of the seminar, and we will be answering all your wicked questions and answers. And I'm going to spend some time with you afterwards. I mean, it could be anything. Anything you like. You can ask me anything, but keep it nice. Keep it nice. I know some of you are a little bit naughty. You hairdressers are a bit naughty. Now, have you ever thought about hairdressing as a job? Of course you are, you're hairdressers. But hairdressers are, I remember reading this Forbes list once. Forbes is like an American magazine. And in there it said like the top hairdressing jobs to have. And one of those was hairdressers, was the best job in the world. I mean, who would have believed it? That was, even Rockstar weren't up there. I think number one, the most happiest people in their job was preachers, man of cloth. And I was looking at that, I was thinking, why is hairdressers like number three? And I kind of thought, well, a hairdresser definitely didn't write this. And what it is, and I've told this story before, what I think it is the person that wrote this is a blogger that goes to her stylist. Now, whatever we know, if we're having a crap day or whatever, we always put on a great show. Always. We show people. We're there to entertain people, make people feel good, even if we feel a little bit shit. That's how we interact with our clients. We have to be on the ball, buzzing, giving them the greatest experience. So no matter what we've got going on in our world, we've actually taught ourselves to have a better day. Now, as hairdressers, we know how automatically to do that. But what they don't see, I mean, and you can all relate to that. So let's take you back into your younger years. Okay, so let's take a hairdresser's day. We love our job. We love interacting with people, but only when it's going right. When it doesn't go right, we want the world to swallow us up. So let's take, for instance, like back in the day when we could smoke in the salon. We'd be out the back. We sent our junior off to wash some hair. Okay, so we've done a nice little bleach at the back wash. We're always nervous about our bleach and how it's going to turn out, whether we're going to have a little bit of a canary yellow, what toner we're going to get out. Is it a 9.5? Go to our go-to toner. And the trainee comes back in, and she comes back into the room, and she walks through the salon staff room door with a plume of smoke pulling back at her, and she goes, Daniel. I said, what? She went, I need you. I'm like, well, okay, so I'll come out. And she said, well, tell me. She's in a sheer panic. She's got sweat coming down her ears. She go over to the sink, and you play it cool. You walk over, you have a little look down at the sink. You go, and you can see that is the best color of canary yellow you've ever seen. And you're thinking, oh dear. And the client looks up at you. She goes, everything okay? And I go, absolutely. Wow, we just need to drop a bit of a toner on there. And then we go out the back, we go back into the room, and then we open up the door. The plume of smoke comes back in. You go, guys, what am I going to do? Please help me. I mean, that is the typical kind of, her hair is in the sink. You know, it's just coming away. Quick treatments, toners, pulling in every bit of advice you got. I mean, that's the beauty of being in a salon with like a lot of people with a lot of colour knowledge. They're there to got your back. But yeah, I've been in that situation many a times. And obviously, today's course is all about short haircuts. Now, throughout the history of me teaching hairdressing, what's the number one? I've not got much confidence in cutting short hair. Well, I started with short hair. So that's when, I started with my biggest fear. My biggest fear was long hair or hair up. I mean, putting hair up was like, bonkers to me, but someone else, it's their natural talent. But short hair for me, I love getting into short hair and how it's cut and, where to start on the haircut. So today's workshop, and I've got to call it a workshop because we're going to actually cut a few different looks before we get to the end result. So it's like, do we start at the front? Do we start at the back? Do we start at the top? What's the outcome? Where do we go? And that's all down to consultation. It seriously is. And in images. So I want you to now just tag in there. Okay, so quickly, what short haircuts on celebrities do you like? What's your go-to one? What do they ask for? Go on, name out some celebrities. Go on. First one that pops in your head with short hair. Celebrity. Go for it. Go on, let's see what comes up. Some short haircuts. Now, in there, obviously, you got your Emma Watson. Back in the day, you had your Frankie from Saturdays. These are all kind of typical short haircuts. Then you got your nice little kind of little short crops. Then you got your undercuts. But what I found, the theory of doing all this is quite simple. And the outcome is usually cut the same way. Like, I think you're kind of getting it over the last few seminars that we've done. Once you learn the foundations, you know everything, and then you can just play around with variations of length. So, whether you want a shorter back, little kickers kind of coming out, little disconnections. But we're going to try all those today, and we're going to do them in great detail. So I want you to then be able to kind of cut hair with confidence. That's the whole idea of that. So what kind of people we got? Katy Perry, when she had her haircut short. Yes, Katy Perry's haircut. I remember that. That was a killer. I mean, it's like, that's brave. And if you give a woman a short haircut, what does it do to them? It gives them a little bit more kind of couture. You look at women with short hair and you kind of go, man, I wish I was that brave. I wish I could have that hair short. And we've lived in decades now, or a decade of long hair. Everybody's got long, luscious hair. But the trend will change. And I'm going to give you the confidence for when that trend changes that we're going to get there. And plus, we're in COVID-19 and our clients haven't seen us for how many weeks? How many weeks have our clients not seen us? I mean, it's got to be what, 8 weeks now? And then you've got to think maybe those clients before that had their appointment due, were probably like 4 weeks in. So they're looking like big muffin heads. So last week I taught you how to cut gents' hair. Now I tell you, how many non-hairdressers, watched that video back. So I've had like 450 views on that, and then I've had a few comments in my inbox saying, "What do you think to this haircut that I've done?" And actually, do you know what? Like, they were pretty good. There wasn't, they followed the steps. They kept it easy. They just cut with their hands rather than kind of getting the shearers out, because using a clipper is quite scary. It's a new tool to hairdressers, But I learnt in the way of scissor over combing. That was my Tony and Guy way. Spent an hour with a gent, charged a lot of money. But now I use clippers. I think, over the next kind of course, I'm going to show you those kind of like scary skin fades and how I do it as a hairdresser, because I don't cut hair like a barber. I do it slightly differently, and it's our own method. It's like I kind of like gradually sculpt something rather than going with that big heavy step and then trying to work that out. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. But do you know what? Do you miss those days in the salon where you just absolutely have a killer day and you laugh? I mean, you just have this. Is anybody short of laughter right now? Is anybody like, when was the last time I laughed? When was the last time I put some good comedy on? Because laughing is a great healer. It's a great infectious. So I want you to find your best buddy that makes you laugh today and give them a call and have a laugh. Stop talking about all the anxiety and all the fear and then everything else, because to get over all those things, laugh. You know, if I start laughing now, you know, even if I start fake laughing and I'm just laughing and I'm laughing, you can see me laughing and I'm kind of making him laugh now. I mean, I want you to now kind of just get a little giggle in you. Get a little giggle. Just start laughing. Just, just start. Just like maybe the Joker from the Joker. I mean, he just laughs for fun. Just laugh and you'll feel yourself getting a bit more spirit. Dan, laugh. Laugh in my ear. Come on. I want you to, Daniel Thomas, laugh in my ear. Laugh with me. Just force laugh. And get louder. It's just going to come. Can you see yourself smiling a little bit more? It's a little bit more energy, isn't it? Yeah? I mean, it sounds completely madness. And we probably sound like we're absolutely off our heads. But in this madness, we can laugh. You know, just have a little giggle. And bring something there. So I'm going to, you know, surround myself with comedy today. A few funny salon stories. I want to hear your salon stories that made you laugh. Those things where you just went, fucking hell, that was fucking funny. Absolutely funny. I knocked a client out once. That was by accident. It weren't funny at the time. But when you think about it afterwards, when you got this client that's just like cold face on the floor, because I've gone in with a hairspray. I said, like, okay, so I'm doing this like little really fancy pants thing. And I've got some shine spray. And I said, what you got to do at home, right? What you got to do at home is you got to spray this in the air, and then you just got to waft your head in it. And like, don't spray it directly on your hair, spray it around the air, and then just waft your head on it. I said, you ready? So I said, you ready? She said, yeah, I'm ready. So I said, ready? And I sprayed it up in the air. As I went like this, she went like this, and we went conk. She went out. I mean, that's a law case right there, isn't it? I was like, I don't know what's going on there. She was out picking her up off the floor. I mean, there was another time where I had stairs in the salon. Busy salon, busy day. I'm like buzzing down, running down, just had a quick smoke upstairs and up on the roof. I come down the stairs, and whatever products we were using on the floor at the time made it like a freaking ice rink. So I came down those stairs and I slid. I mean, we were packed. And the only thing that I had in front of me to kind of keep me steady was a client's shoulder. So I went leached over. She's come with me. I pulled her onto the floor out of her chair. I'm on the floor. She's on the floor. Everybody's looking at her going, oh, what happened there? I mean, just some of these things, those salon stories. I want to know your funniest story. Put your, take a few minutes here just to write in your funny story. I hope you're feeling a bit of a better mood now, guys. Is everybody with me? Now, guys, give me a like. Give me a share. So press that share button. Throw it all over into your inbox. Get all your friends involved. I want to kind of see your people in here again. And I've got my favorites in here. Hi, Chloe. Hi, Jade. Good to see you this morning. How you feeling? Got in touch with you last night. We're all kind of feeling the same at the minute. You know, the sun's out today. And we're going to have a good time. Now, I suppose let's cut it. Yeah? Let's get into the haircut. Because there's a lot to learn. You got your notepads? You got your pens? You involved? Cool. Let's have some music, Daniel. Right. Now, first of all, I've got a nice little red head here that I previously cut. Now, I need to kind of pop her up a little bit more for you. Now, when I'm looking at short hair, I love short haircuts. And the reason I love short haircuts is the intricacy of the cutting patterns that we can use. Now, I do have a go-to, fail-safe kind of way of cutting short hair. And that's to kind of break it down into kind of different segments. Now, I'm going to cut one side, slightly different to the other, but then I will kind of smarten that up as well. Just show you the different variations. And also, I'm going to leave little bits of softness out, just to kind of see what that does, you know, these little kind of soft pieces. Because with short hair, you can really change a face shape with the shape that you put in. And the softness you leave out, whether it's a little bit more squarer or a little bit more triangle or a little bit more rounded. And obviously the length that you change the haircut with can change everything as well. So, here we go. Let's get that nice and wet. Make sure that the hair is always consistently wet. Now, what I work on is I work on the bottom, and I work on the middle, and then I work on the top. That's how I kind of do most of my haircuts in the salon. Now, when I'm teaching how to cut short hair, I will start from the sides and work all the way round. And that's more of a kind of a method that I've worked with. But I kind of feel like I like to bite size it down with short hair. Short hair for me is definitely a passion of mine. I love my bobs. Do you know what? All hairdressing aspects I love. There's certain aspects of long hair I love, and that's more of the styling of it. I really get into the styling of it because the cut itself is pretty much kind of, you know, it's a layer and it's a one length, maybe a side fringe. But with short hair, you have so many different dimensions you can play with. And when a client comes in and she says, you can do what you like, and she's got short hair, that lights me up. You know, where I'm kind of collapsing in little elfin bits, maybe a little kind of close fade, you know, power haircuts. And when you finish those, I mean, I spend the most detail on those, most detail on the short haircuts. You know, that they are my favorite. And what I tend to find as you get older in your generation of hairdressing, so you guys that are a little bit younger, a little bit less confident, you will attract more long hair. You will attract more clients like yourself. That's what happens through the growth of your career. So I've been cutting hair now for over 20 years. And when I started, I used to have quite a young clientele, but that clientele grew with me. They got older with me. And generally, a rule of thumb, when you reach a certain age, you experiment with shorter hair. You know, and you don't want long hair in your 50s and your 60s. But I still have clients with long hair in their 50s and 60s, and I love it. And it looks great on them. But then some clients, they realize that, you know, obviously having longer hair doesn't suit them, and they want more of an easier style, a bit more of a mature style. But now we're getting younger clients with short, funky, wicked haircuts. And that's going to come back round. So I'm going to give you the confidence to do that. So again, like we do other haircuts that I've showed you in previous webinars, take out the bridal ridge. Take out that top section. Okay, so just using your flat clips as well. Take out that top section. That top section is the dictator of what everything kind of looks like. It's the length left behind. Always talk to your clients as well about what you're going to do. So in a consultation process, you talk through the haircut, you tell them what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, and then you go and get their hair washed, and then you work out your plan. Okay? And the biggest one, the biggest fear is when you're younger, you will be scared of short hair. I know you will. Everybody is. Because once it's gone, it's gone. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's off. With long hair, you can kind of hide your mistakes. You can kind of, you know, perhaps give it a good comb and brush it out. But, you know, one thing I do think you should always do is check your haircut in its dry state when it's naturally falling, you know, it's nice and smooth. Don't blow dry the hair, curl it, and then try and check it. It's not going to happen. They'll go home, they'll have all bits missing. Plus, you can't texturize it. Always go for the curl afterwards. Unless you get to a level where you know that's bang on straight. You know you've got that straight. You've cut so many lines in your life that you know that's going to be straight. But I'll always finish their hair in a more of a natural state, give it a nice little shine, blow dry, then I'll recurl it. Obviously, time depending as well. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to come around the back here, drop a little bit out. Now, what I would like to do here is just kind of get my edge of my comb, pull it straight through to here, and comb that down. Yeah, that's going to kind of find my bridal ridge. All right, the bridal ridge, the top area. And then we're going to get that out. And we're going to come around this side, and then we're going to pull it in again. So we're just going to come around and we're just going to draw a line and just kind of see how much hair falls down. Now, depending on how much you take out, depends whether you want an undercut or an overcut. So if you want it short cropped, the end result today will be very, very short. I want to kind of push it to its limits, especially on these doll's heads. They don't like going too short, but I'm going to show you, if I can cut this well, you can cut anybody with like thick hair really, really well. Now, sometimes you get clients where you'll do a section in pattern and you're 16 sections in, you're still cutting their hair away. I mean, they've got so much hair. You've like done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're building up all this hair, and then you're coming away, and maybe they've got a bigger head and a lot of hair. I mean, that's a hard haircut, and we all get them. Everybody's different. I wish we could charge more if we kind of turn around to us and say, you've got a really big head. Oh, I'm gonna have to charge you some more money, but we can't do that. Or when Rapunzel walks in, your hair down to her bum, you've just come off your lunch break, maybe eating a KFC, you're feeling a little bit tired. You're like, whoa. Right. There we go. I hope you like my little laughter thing there. I mean, it takes a lot to be a comedian sometimes. Or kind of just get yourself out of a state. But, I don't really kind of fear anything at the minute. I just kind of do what I want to do. And it makes me a better person. I'm kind of your clown. I'm a bit stupid on purpose. I do like to make people laugh. One of my best friends when I was younger was just an absolute brilliant comedian. And I would just, I'm going to make you my best friend because you keep me in laughter. You always kind of pick me up. If you hang around with depressive people, you're going to end up being a depressive person. So choose your friends wisely, guys, as you grow up. Choose your colleagues wisely. Like, don't get wrapped up into, I was speaking to someone the other day that just said, oh, my salon is just so bitchy. I'm like, how? We don't have that in our salon. We don't have bitchiness in our salon. We kind of just wipe that straight out. We don't even entertain it. If you raise an eyebrow at me differently than I think you should have, I don't need you in my salon because I'm at work a long time and I want to be, really happy in what I do. So if I'm worrying about that person just not being a nice person and just causing everybody a little bit of a drama, I'll work you out of the business. I don't want you to work with us because you're just spoiling everyone's day. You kind of get that. Have you ever kind of worked with someone that just think, just cheer up. Just cheer up. I know what it's like from when I've had like maybe a bad day and I go in the salon, I'm a little bit down. The salon becomes down. You kind of give off a different energy. But when, the sun is shining and you've got a great client base that day, you're not scared about Mrs. Smith coming in or Janet coming in. Have you ever looked at your column and gone, oh, today's going to be a long day? You almost have like those clients that like suck the life out of you. Do you know those ones? Like they're a mood vampire. They're just like they're drainers. They just suck it out of you, and afterwards you're like, I just need to lie down after that client. But then you get those clients that you cannot wait to see again. Like you just become a comedy duo. They're the best ones. I mean, you've got to know some of those where, and you look over at your other stylist who's just having a good time, having a laugh, and cutting hair, making people feel good and laughing. They're the sort of people you want to attract in your life, and you can attract those kind of clients as well. The ones that just buy into you, your biggest fans. The ones that will just keep coming back because they just love the service that you give them and the banter. And a wicked haircut. What a great job. I guess we have got one of the biggest jobs in the world. I'm doing this because I love it. I'm cutting hair for you guys because I love it. It's keeping my creative brain going and I love it. I absolutely love this job. The passion, the shoot, the going on TV. My TV career, I mean, that was quite stressful, but I loved it. you know, you come away from something that was like frightening, and then you come away with something and you go, that was amazing. That was amazing. I wouldn't probably do TV work again because it does take you away from the salon a lot. So here we go. We've sectioned off the top, so we'll worry about the top later, but we always want a plan. Okay, so we know our destination, we know where we're starting and where we're finishing. And the best way to kind of do it with any kind of sportsman or hairdressers, we all have the same ability. We can pre-visualize. And we have to do that because we're pre-visualizing a nice haircut. Okay, so we're pre-visualizing, and we've done this by the power of consultation. The power of consultation, it's the most important thing, that connection between you and them. I always open up with a shocker as well. I always kind of like to shock people to kind of wake them up a little bit. So I'll throw like a curveball question in there. I'm not going to tell you a few of them, but we've all got those. And then we'll go into, like lifestyle. How do you like your hair? What products do you use? Who do you want to look like? I love it when they kind of like get pictures on their mobile phone and show you these pictures. And then you're like, I don't know how that's done, but you'll have a go at it. So, ready? Let's pop that in there. So, ready? Okay. I can hear Dan having a conversation in my ear. I'm listening to what he's saying. He's having a chat with his missus in my ear. I'm like, tell me what you're talking about, Dan. The thumbnails, the YouTube thumbnails. Okay, right then, guys, you ready? Okay, so I'm going to section out down the back of the haircut. I like to get the bottom of the haircut done. Okay, so that's the base. That's everything underneath the obstacle, because I like that a little bit more tucked in. Now, on most technical haircuts, what they will show you, and I'm going to talk you through this, is that you will start at the front and you will build a diagonal backwards sectioning pattern. So you will go through the haircut like this. And then you will come down through the haircut, down through the haircut, down through the haircut, down through the haircut. And that's a long journey to take. So what I like to do is I bite size it down. It's just my method. I nail this area off here, just through here. I get rid of that, and then I establish whether I wanted it longer or shorter at the sides. So if we wanted a longer haircut at the front of the haircut, you would start at the back or in the middle and progressively get longer as you come out through the sides. So if you started your graduation here, you've got to kind of dictate where that's going to go and the journey it's going to take. So that's one way of cutting hair. But I want to kind of take this haircut really, really short and guarantee it, and short over the ears. And what I learned, and the epiphany moment, was you have to start at the front of the haircut to guarantee the shortness of the sides. Because when you start at the back and the sides here, you're almost kind of like giving yourself momentum and length all the way through, and then you have to revisit the sides. But if you did that, could short that off, and then came straight in from there, you've already nailed that kind of pixie kind of haircut, and that's what we're going to go for. So I'm going to separate the back. So you're going to pick things up about how we're talking about short hair in a minute. Use my little sectioning clip. Just get a nice deep section in there. So this hair has been previously cut short, so you may have to use a few section clips on short hair. And I mean, I've had 16 clips in someone's hair once. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to hold up that little bit that keeps falling out. Do you know, a little bit of hair just keeps coming out. And we like to work with clean sections, but sometimes you just got to get through it. And remember, most of the short haircuts are going to be refined afterwards as well. So, there is room for little bits of error. So we're just going to section. Actually, I'm going to section to about there. Just behind the ear. There we go. We've got some music, Dan. It's going to be my little radio station in my ear. No, I can't hear nothing. Sorry? No, can't hear it. Okay, we'll work without music today. Okay, section that off. Get that nice and clean. It's in my ear. I can hear you. I love the fact that I'm having a conversation with someone else in my ear. Right, get that wet. Now, very good tip here. So if you wanted to be longer towards the front, I would usually start the haircut from the inside and work out. If you want the haircut shorter at the front, I would work from the outside in. And what we're going to be doing is kind of gradually over-directing each and every single section just to grab a little bit more momentum. So I will cut section 2 on section 1, section 3 on section 2, section 4 on section 3. And I'll keep building that up. And because we're going on a slight diagonal, what we generally do when we take diagonal sections, we cut more of a triangular shape. So that's something from shorter to longer, a graduation, a build-up of length and weight, a build-up of short to long. That's graduation. But I also want to kind of leave out some cool little hairlines as well. So they're called disconnections. Just sometimes when you're in doubt, you leave it out. You just leave that out. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if we can get that nice and close for you guys. So we've got the hair just swooped off there, and now we're just working on this main section. So when you're attacking short hair, just have it this way. Now our head is slightly forward, so I can get right in there. And we're going to take out a small section just down the hairline. So we imitate the hairline. So that's the sort of direction that you want. Now we comb all that hair out of the way. Get that out of the way. Now I'm kind of simplifying short hair for you. You know, because you younger guys on there, you're just about to go back into the salon, and guess what? You might be cutting hair straight away. That's quite a frightening thought. Now, what I'm going to do is get myself into a nice little boxer's stance, okay? So when I'm saying that, like, this is my boxer's stance. So my section is there, and I'm going to hold the hair underneath. And then I'm going to be able to kind of tilt that out. Then I'm going to come in with my blade, and I'm going to cut that way. Now, some people will cut with their scissor that way. Palm to palm, that's palm to palm, or knuckles on knuckles. Yeah, I like to cut knuckle and knuckle. It's just the way I cut. It's just the way I've always done it. Now a lot of people can't do that, and that's okay. A lot I can't do it the other way. So, you know, we all have our flaws, we all have our, you know, different things, and out through the career, you know, I've still got a job. It doesn't matter. I can still cut hair and be creative. It doesn't matter sometimes how you cut it. It's the end result that really matters. I've seen some really unusual ways of cutting hair, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, why would they do that? And then the result was like, that's amazing. So then I'd go back and try it out. Okay, so I'm going to section out here. I'm just going to grab a little bit behind the ear. And now, remember, we wanted shortness at the front here. We wanted to be short around there. So pretty much this is going to be down to finger length at the side here. And what we're going to do is pull that out. Get a nice good tension. Comb it onto your fingers. So combing it onto your fingers. Get your section nice and tight in there. And now we're only going to cut to there. And the reason we only cut between this part of our finger from there to there is because there's a lot more movement through this area here. Look, I can get my scissor all the way through there, unless you've got really like kind of like close together fingers. I don't like cutting down there. And if you've ever cut that bit of your finger or your hand in there, ooh, does that hurt? Does that hurt? Guys, can you just quickly give me a like and a share? Perhaps copy the link and then put it into your Instagram to all your hairdresser friends and share that out and say, get on live now. We're going to be here for a couple of hours. Now, some of you can't be here for the full seminar, but you can watch this tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It will be live, 6 or 7 o'clock. Okay, so now we're going to pull that in and now cut that down like this. Then I'm just going to leave a little bit out towards the edge. In fact, no, I'm going to go nice and short, guaranteed short straight away. So I'm just going to get that. And then, so that's just a couple of little sections there. And you can see that line. So that line is cut, graduated all the way through. But it's actually all the same length. And the reason that is that way is because the head will naturally tilt under. So it is actually all the same length, but it's just cut on a 45-degree angle, but it's actually 90 degrees to the head. You kind of understand this as we're working through this. We've got any questions, Dan? Just quick ones. Yeah. What if I was going to section from there? What I would do is I use an A line. So that's my middle of my head, and then I will work out like this, like this. So diagonal forward sections. So learning diagonal back or forwards is the end of the result of the diagonal. Does it go backwards or forwards? So if that to me is diagonal forwards. That to me is diagonal back. Diagonal forwards and diagonal back. Yeah. So you'll see this. So this is diagonal backwards. When I'm cutting from the middle and cutting outwards, because I want the progression of length to become longer as I get to the front of the haircut, more of an A-line haircut, I would definitely start from the middle, and then I'll build out my weight towards the sides. So each one will be slightly over-directed towards the inside rather than to the outside. And that's the way I kind of learned how to gather length at the front or not gather length at the front. And sometimes I mix it up, and I'm going to show you that, because sometimes I want all the short back. I don't want the softness and the longness to here, because a lot of people kind of feel, especially clients, got slim necks, they want to feel hair here. So that's when I'll start from the outside, from the inside out. Inside out if you want more hair here. Outside in if you want it nice and clean and short and sharp. Okay, but I'll do that haircut. I'll do another version of this haircut probably on over the next kind of few weeks, but this one we're going to guarantee you shortness. Okay, so now I've taken another small section. I'm going to comb that onto my last section and cut down. Comb that onto my last section and cut down. I like to use a little clip now and again just to kind of clip the other hair away. But you can see all my sections are very, very the same. The pattern's the same. And once you kind of start finding your own sectioning patterns, you'll get there. Now, what I'm going to do with my feet is I'm not going to stay in a stationary position. I'm just going to move myself just a little step over. So I'm now working on my new section. Because if I stand here in one place, I draw all the hair over and it gradually gets longer too quick and you get a baggy bit in the middle. So we're going to pull this in, cut this in again, and now what I do is I step under, but I step my body a bit lower as well. So I kind of move my eye line to wherever I want that hair to be cut. That's always a big tip of mine on there. And you can see we're just kind of forming that way. Once this is out the way, you've kind of guaranteed the shortness into the neck, and then it's about going into the sides. Now, I'm going to start the sides, and I'm going to move myself over. I'm going to start the sides of the haircut. From the front. But I'm also going to show you one of the sides. I'm going to start from just behind the ear, so you can see the difference between the two. And as I say, it's a study of short hair and how different elements can change the different outcome of the haircut. Okay, there we go. Has anybody ever tried that power of laughter? Of actually physically, I mean, you do look like you're from Batman and you're the Joker. I mean, but I found it was in one of my kind of therapy sessions that I did, and they made you laugh, and you just thought, I feel alright, not bad doing this. If you were in America, they'd be all over it. But we were a little bit more kind of PC. What's he doing? Has he gone mad? But I kind of feel that I laughed the other night speaking to Rebecca on the phone. And I thought, I need a bit more of that in my life right now. A little bit more laughter. A little bit more. Does anybody else feel like they need a bit more laughter? Okay, so. Again. So I will only cut from there, then there, then there. And if, obviously when we set up the other cameras for the courage and cutting course, so the courage and cutting course, we're going to have 3 different cameras that we can kind of rotate from. Okay, so there's that. Then I'm going to just comb it onto my finger. So each one is being combed away from me. So the last combing direction is that way. And what that does is that gradually builds up a millimeter of length, a micromillimeter of length as you work towards the middle, so we get a bit more hair around this area, so we're not too flat, too androgynous, too more of a square cut. And you can see I'm keep coming over into the other side. There we go. Boom. There we go. It's nice and calm. Nice and calm. Just sometimes, no, I can't hear anything, Daniel. There we go. Now, pull that, comb that over to your hand. Cut down. And if any of you have got doll's heads at home, I want you to kind of test this out. But with the doll's heads, obviously they're a little bit expensive. So start with my first seminar and then work down into your different lengths, because then you get the most haircuts out of it. So I always practice long hair, different variations of long hair. There we go. Now I want you to introduce you to something. Actually, Daniel, I've got something here. I'm going to introduce you to something. So I signed up to YouTube Premium. And YouTube Premium allows you to have music and conversations at the same time with your friends. And I'll tell you what, you get some bangers. So if you send your friend a song, okay, and you both got this on, and you can send them a song, you can both listen to the same song at the same time, but then usually when you send that song, the next song after that is another belter. And I've just, I've been having dance sessions all by myself late at night. I haven't just slobbed in front of Netflix. I've kind of tidied the house and everything else, and then I've got up, I put my music on, and I've had a dance. I bet none of you have danced in the last 6 weeks. But it's a nice feeling to kind of lose yourself, shake out some moves. I do like to dance. Okay, so look. Now I'm pulling that over onto my fingers. Yep, onto my fingers. Still got the arch. Cut down. Then I duck down. Then I'll duck down again. But I always try and keep the hair on my nice eye level. There we go. And you see the shapes really building up there. Now I'm just going to come over the park. I'm just going to come over the other side. I'm going to continue to do that. So just combing that hair onto your fingers. Find your guide. There it is. And I'll give you some real kind of good close-ups on this to show you how it worked. What's your favorite film, guys? What's the favorite? I want a list of films that I want to watch some films that just like have you in stitches. What's one of those? Mine's Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty has me howling sometimes. What's your favorite films, guys? Because I'm going to put them on. I'm going to make those my playlist this week. I'm going to just have nice, funny times. Okay. So now we're on the opposite side. We know the length that we cut there. Now, if you ever want to measure the length, get your comb. You'll just pull it in there on the other side, around here, obviously. And then you just measure that out. And then you have a guide on your comb. And that's why I use the Wise Part combs, because they have little guides on there. Now, this side, we're going to change our stance. So now from that stance, yeah, we're now in this stance. So I've kind of got my right foot forward. And this gives me the ability to angle. But the difference here is I'm going to be cutting up in my sections. So it's kind of knowing what side kind of, what kind of bit of the haircut changes when you do it. So let's comb that down. Let's pull that out. We've got the same diagonal. You can't go wrong if you follow a sectioning pattern. And keep it clean. Keep it as clean as you can. With short hair, it's quite difficult because you get little bits that drop out all the time. So here, you should be able to see this really well. Get rid of that clip out of the way. So I'm just going to get that, right on my fingers, comb the hair onto my hand, and now we're just going to cut that up like that. That's guaranteed to be the same length as the other side because obviously my fingers are against the head. Now, if you want it a little bit longer, always keep one finger on the head and then you can hold it off. Like you see that finger there, that's your kind of support, you know, to kind of really keep in control. So, you know, if you're in contact with the head, that really helps you with that one finger left on the head. And then you can kind of measure it out. So it's 2 finger depths or 3 finger depths. And you'll kind of get to know these lengths. You'll get more comfortable with them. Okay, there we go. And we're in there. Now, some of you guys have tuned into or signed up to my Courage in Cutting course, where we'll be kind of like spending 4 days together. 4 half days, by the way. They're not like full days. But we're going to work hard on those. I'm going to really get into the way you cut hair. I'm going to give you the biggest head start to take on after this pandemic's finished. I'm going to give you the courage to go back into that salon, yeah, together. You're going to meet like-minded people on the group as well. You're all going to get to know each other. That's the best thing about a course. That's what I used to love about a course, is getting to know other personalities and new people. That was my favorite thing, and realize that we are all the same. All of us are the same. Now, I had people at different levels, maybe not cut hair before, then managers. You know, I've been cutting hair for 30 years. And there's not much in between the learning process. It's almost like when you go into a classroom effect, you are vulnerable, you know, and you're vulnerable because you want to learn. You're open. And that's what I try and teach you. You know, some of the best hairdressers that I've taught are sometimes the youngest in the career. You know, sometimes they just get it because they're fresh. They don't have bad habits. They don't have, you know, the things that they've been doing for ages. Like when you take a driving test, you're always like, you follow the rules. But then as you get older, you know, you subconsciously drive. And if your subconscious hasn't been challenged enough or developed enough, you'll only kind of keep on to your bad habits. A freelance hairdressers, they tend to kind of, they're the ones that tell me this the most. Freelance hairdressers say, you know, I'm not learning anything new. And that's maybe that's because their motivation to learn something new isn't as high as when it's in a salon. Because when you're in a salon, it can be a competitive kind of industry, or you'll see somebody doing something a little bit different and you'll have conversations. And that's what I like about a salon. That's why, you know, I've been a freelance hairdresser and I've been a salon owner, and I've worked for other people. I've done it all over the industry. You know, there's nothing I haven't really tried within the industry. So I kind of have an experience level of everything. Okay, so now I'm coming through. But remember, like each time I'm moving my body, so I'm not staying in a stationary position because it's a rounded shape. It's a triangular rounded shape. So the triangular is the graduation, and the rounded shape is because it's just got this blend and movement to the head or sphere. So you have to move with the haircut. Okay, so now I'm going to comb that back down onto the previous section. I'm really gentle with my comb and my scissor. I just use it like a little pencil, and I kind of tip it like this, you know, just kind of like just little tiny haircuts. Sometimes I switch for my smaller haircuts. I switch to a smaller scissor. But if I'm kind of like bulk cutting this, or I'm like trying to get quite a lot of hair off, I kind of find the little scissor. I'll kind of introduce later, and I'll show you why I use a little scissor. Okay, now we're coming over to the other side. So I'm moving myself. Yeah, so each time I take a section, I'm stepping into another section. So now, like, see, I'm ducking into that, so I can see that on my eye level. Now I'm going to blend side 1 to side 2. And what we're looking for is a nice little point in the middle of this haircut. Now, this is one that I used to teach on my Courage in Cutting course, on the last day. But I've changed that up. What I've done now is I've developed a new haircut that I think will challenge you a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to check both ways. What we've got there, you can see the shape. I'm going to put it nice and straight now. There we go. So what you can see there is that we've got a nice angle all the way through, but this hair here is shorter than this hair here. So it's gradually tiny bit got longer, and the arch. But why is that done that? And that's because the last comb direction was towards me. So you're kind of almost just gathering a bit of length every time you cut that hair. So the control of short hair is amazing. That's what I love about short hair. You can control it, manipulate it, change it. Now what I'm going to show you different now is that what we've got to do is connect the sides to that. I like to take that off, but in most short haircuts, most short graduation videos that you'll see out there, they'll teach you from the side, then you go into the back. But I almost kind of like I know what I want the back to look like, so I want to do that first, and I'll make the sides fit to the back. So now we're going to come to the front of the haircut. We're going to just tilt a little bit away, only a little bit away, just so we can kind of work in there. And we're going to follow this same pattern. The other side I'll do slightly different so you can see it. So now I'm going to take my small section out the front. Just a tiny little section. Get rid of all that hair out of the way. There we go. Just comb that out of the way and make sure that looks nice. Now here is that you have very, very, different elements to that area. Okay, so I need to lower it down a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to lower my camera as well, if you don't mind, guys. Just going to lower you down so you can probably see a little bit more as well. There we go. Sorry, just technical difficulties. That would be easier. There we go. So we can both work in the same way. You might not be able to see me too much, but that's fine. You don't need to see me on here. You see the haircut. So what we've got to do is we've got to aim for there, from there to there. So what we're going to do is take diagonal backward sections like this all the way through up to about this point. Around here something's going to change because we're on a different circular. So here is quite flat, 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 and then it really rounds off. So there's a slightly different direction that I take around this area, but that's more something that I've learned. This part of the haircut depends on whether you want softness or length at the sides. If you're doing a short crop, you can guarantee you can just take that off on a diagonal. But let's say she wanted a little bit of softness, a bit of length. So what I do on the first section, so I'll comb that again onto my fingers, like that. But then I'll just twist my bottom fingers away from the head. And that's going to give me a little bit more length. Okay, so look. Now I just cut that through there, look. That's just now going to give me that little bit more play length. Yeah? That's going to do that. Now, you've got to be careful. Because you've left that on there, you've left that out, and that's part of your new shape. So we're going to do that one more time. But we're going to move over the set. We're not going to stay in stationary position. We're going to move over. Okay. We're going to tilt that out. And we're going to cut up. Like that. Now, we're safe to change the shape. Same shape as the back. We're going in. Okay. So we're going to go on a diagonal backwards. Get that in there. Okay. Now, this is where it changes. We're going to disconnect that out. Leave it out. And we're going to tilt our section in. Like this. Knuckles away from the head. See the gap there? It's going to get longer. Shorter to the bottom. I'm going to comb that up. And guarantee that's the shortness on there. Yeah. So that's how you can kind of manipulate a little bit of length around the front if you wanted to. Yeah, if you wanted to. Now we're going to get another section. Comb that away. And these are lovely diagonal backward sections. There we go. Can you see that? Let me get a bit closer for you. There we go. Watch this. So, I'm in here, angled out. So we're going triangular, shorter to longer to build up a bit more weight. Nice and close around the ear. Leaving that front section out. Another section. Just draw the hair down. And I'm combing. My last comb is towards the face. The last comb is towards the face. Ready? Cut there. And cut there. There we go. Now, keep doing that and keep repeating that. It's literally pattern, repeat, pattern, repeat, pattern, repeat. You could do it quite fast if you wanted to. Now, depending on what kind of haircut, your length, the length changes massively, or changes the haircut massively. It could be the same technique, but the length changes and you can change the whole outcome. So most haircuts are made up of similar techniques. And you'll learn that. You know, it's like your skill set. Most of the haircuts that you'll ever do usually have the similar cutting patterns, but the length changes and it changes the look. Okay, so now I'm going to move over. I'm going to now duck down, duck into the haircut. You know, I use my one leg or the other. Now I'm going to blend the two sections together, and you should now marry these two together. Look, just there, just with that little connecting point there. How have you been enjoying these kind of like weekly webinars, guys? I know a lot of you have been on there. I think the online presence of things at the minute has been a bit, you're sick to death of it. You're sick to death of looking at your phone, you know, the next Instagram live story, the next this, you know, it's like, you're almost getting really bored of it, I know. But there are new things coming out because we're adapting. And one of those new things is called the hair show. I was really impressed with it. It's from the How to Cut It community. And what I've decided today, with all you guys that have got anxiety about social media and stuff like that, you know, kind of reading the wrong places, being in the wrong thing, I recommend that you remove yourself from those groups. Remove yourself from the groups. Go for one source of information. And I'm going to plug my friend here, Dom Lehane. I want you to go onto the How to Cut It community and stay there. And get involved in there. And become part of that team. Because they're going to give you the best advice and the honest advice. And they're not propaganda. It's not, you know, oh, I've got this worry, I've got that worry. It's really good information that's sourced. He knows what he wants in his channel. Whereas all these other channels that I'm kind of looking at out there are just full of anxiety. They're full of fear. They're full of sharing. You know, and these guys aren't linked to companies. It's his own brand, Dom Lehane. He does the How to Cut It podcasts as well, which I've kind of procrastinated forever about doing a podcast because he's my friend. And I've known him for so many years, so he knows some of my darkest secrets. And I'm like, oh, is he going to bring these out? But I'm going to do this podcast, guys. I'm going to be very honest. I'm a very open and honest person. Always have been, probably too many times. Can you see how that's like really, really going into there now? Like, so sometimes you just recut that tiny little bit. Keep on with the diagonal sections. So How to Cut It community, just go to that group. I mean, I do like the Hair Socials group. They show you, you know, some good tutorials as well. And now he's going over to America. I think he's depleted his funds depleted all the artists that he can get hold of in the UK. So now he's over in America, which is quite good. I mean, this guy is flying. His name is Simon. I was on one of them. You can actually go back and watch one of those. But there are so many groups. Has anybody got any good groups they're in that they really enjoy being in? I mean, you enjoy being in. Like a part of a group. That's what a group is. It's a community. It's a connection. Is anybody enjoying those? So put some groups up here on what you found very, very, very useful for your questions, answers. Okay, so here, again, we're just combing that last section onto back. I duck down. I follow that shape. Look at the shape. Yeah, Look at that. Nice little cut in there. Nice sharp scissors as well. So we had our winner from Akito the other week. She's received her scissors now, which I paid for, which I was happy to pay for because it got some good noise out there. Okay. There we go. Yeah, sorry we didn't send the email out to you guys. We had a problem with the email. I know some of you kind of caught me on Instagram knowing that I was going live, but some of you, I know I had a few messages last night saying I've not received my email because we used to have it. You know, we like to know what's going on. So there. Yeah. But I'm going to be here every Monday. Every Monday until we get back to work. Every single Monday. It's happening. That's my challenge. I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I like doing this. I can't wait until Monday. And I'll put a plan together from last Monday to this Monday and work towards that. I mean, it's almost like I'm working 1 day a week. But everything that I put into this, you know, the thought process, what I'm going to talk about, how stupid I can be, how silly I'm going to be, that, I don't know. Sometimes you can overplan something as well. Look at this section now. You see, we're into the back here. I really want you to kind of study this and think about this and have it in your head because you've got to remember this. You know, this is something that I've learned over decades. Oh, I've got an Amazon delivery turning up, so it's just going to bang the door. It's going to leave that outside, hopefully. So, that's another thing. Has anybody had too much Amazon? So now, look, we're pulling this hair over. Nice little comb. There we go. Get that through there. And then we're going to pull again. There. Then I'm going to duck down. So I'm actually ducking my legs down. I'm actually getting into there. And then I'm still then finding that shape, finding the connecting point, and just sculpt that off. Again, what you're going to find now is I'm going to start tilting my sections out a little bit more so I don't go too high. So I'm just going to naturally, because I'm around the other second circular of the head, but what I am going to do is just move the head shape slightly. That's going to help me. Now, what you'll notice is that when we get to the top here, because you've moved your sectioning pattern that's a little bit different, you start pulling more weight down because you don't want to go too short around this point. That takes it very androgynous. You want a nice little bit of weight there. Look. Okay, now we're there. And now we're here. There we go. All right. See, now I've changed my section. Let me move that out of the way for you so you can actually see that. The line's slightly changed. So whereas we were more vertical than horizontal, more vertical, now we're switching it over. So let me just get that a bit cleaner. What songs are you playing in the background, guys? What songs have you got on at the minute? Yeah, I've got Sweet Home Alabama. I'm kind of liking that. We cut hair listening to music on a daily basis. Why? Because you can change a whole tempo of a room with the music that you play in your salon. I think you've all realized that. Okay, now, ready. There we go. Move over. Connect. Duck in. So I've always got it in my eye line. Just double check that. Look at that line. See, that's connecting from the old line to the new line. There we go. Now, I'm really over directing. So I'm actually cutting the top section, over directing over to about here. I'm not over here where I usually would be. And that reason for that is because I want more weight around the crown, because especially if we have hair that sticks up. So I'll kind of cut that bit, but then I'll really force myself back over to my original position because I don't want to leave a baggy long bit around here. And I'll cut that as well. And now we're into the last section there, look. and we'll cut that. So a couple more of these. I like to always then go over to one side. So pull that right over here. So we guarantee the length. Come back in and just refine to about there. Duck down. Really control short hair. Now let's have a look at the result of that. Let's have a look at the result. So you can see the result there. Shorter, 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 shorter. Now we're longer. So remember we started at that length, which is about 1 inch. Now we're at 2 inches. And that's only by combing the hair over to each section. And it gathers momentum. And then you get your nice shape. And you can see the hair gradually builds up length and weight towards the top section. But this is all nice and clean because we got rid of that straight away. Now we're going to come on to the other side. I'm going to show you option 2 of how to cut this. So if we wanted guaranteed short back, but a little bit longer, a little bit more hair onto the face, this is what I would do. Let me just get this doll's head up. It's going to be a nice warm day today, guys. You got yourself a nice cold drink. Gonna go out and sit in the sunshine, watch some funny stuff, listen to some cool stuff, phone some of your friends, cheer them up, cheer them all up. That's what we want. I want a bit more of a fun atmosphere in the world this week. Okay, so now here, I would do something a little bit different. I would section off. So this is the version where we get maybe a longer front. And it's just simply changing your technique. But what I would do here is now build this up from this corner and start behind the ear. So just behind the ear. This is a different version, but I will recut this because I want it shorter at the front. Okay, so now I would now find my side. And I will cut this. And it's just kind of like showing you the two difference between the two different haircuts. Right, so then keep that section in pattern, similar, but you're just leaving the front out. I'll show you the difference of why I start at the front then, because to guarantee the short sides at the front. And you'll see that just by following this one. So again, I'm combing my sections onto my hand. You know, towards the front of the haircut, towards the front of the face. Following my line there. Another small section. I always use tiny little sections, guys. Really tiny, minute sections. And you'll see the difference. Like, I'm using exactly the same cutting method, but something's changed. I've started behind the ear rather than in front. But I will recut this for you because it won't marry up. So it does make a big difference of where you start the haircut. Okay. I'm going to show you that because what we've done is we've followed the length from the back. Okay, so we followed that momentum and that shape from the back of the haircut. Automatically, there's one thing that kind of eureka moment that it kind of said to me is if I start the haircut here, I always get a lot more length here. And you can see that already. You can see how long the hair is already getting. So it's knowing those two choices. What is the outcome of the haircut that I want? Is it the shorter at the front, the shorter sides? Then you start at the front of the haircut. Because look now. I'm just going to cut that one little section there. And I can show you the difference then. So it's like understanding short hair and the way where you start it and your approach. I guess it's more of your plan and your approach. Right. So I'm just going to do those few sections there. But look at that length there already compared to the other side. Okay. Right. So there's the top length there. Yeah. And there's the top length there. You see massive difference. And that's because we followed the shape up through there. From starting from that back bit. And it's always going to gather more momentum. You'd have to come in really close there instead of following your guide. So that's why I start at the front. because then I get a different guide. So now, let's say I wanted that front to connect that front to that section. This is totally new haircuts, but you know, short hair itself. What I would do now is I'll re-pick that section like that, and I'll go diagonal forward. And then I'll find my section from previous, behind it, find that angle, there's the angle, and I would cut that like that. Pick that hair up, directing it now. Guess what I'm doing? My last comb and my last combing direction is backwards. So I'm actually going to build up length and weight towards the front. And I'm just going to do that in a few simple little haircuts. A few simple little sections. And pull that in. Now obviously I know it's going to be longer than the other side. And it's going to be longer towards the front. Is that making sense to you guys? I hope so. Okay. There we go. You can see that's getting longer now. See the shape getting longer. See it's getting more momentum. I'm still only cutting onto the previous section. I'm not over directing all the way back. I mean, this would be quite a cool asymmetric haircut if you wanted to. But look at the length that gathered very quickly. You can really control short hair. Once you understand short hair cutting, you'll understand everything. And it's like I get enthusiastic about making sure that you can learn men's hair, because when you learn men's hair, that's the shortest hair you're ever going to cut. And if you understand like the square or the square shape of that, don't be afraid of men's hair. It's hair at the end of the day. So there you go. That's what that looks like. And then I would then like kind of do something with that. But you can see the difference between that side, guaranteed short, and then this side, guaranteed a little bit more momentum and length. So I'm just going to take that off. I'm just going to take that off now. Same method again. So I'm going to go backwards through my sections. I'm going to do it nice and fast for you so we can work through that. Okay, so remember, small section down the bottom, and we wanted that a little bit longer. So what I do is I get my fingers in. I then get the shape that I want, that I would cut. Then I tilt it out at the bottom. Leave my knuckles against the head, okay? Leaving my fingertips against the head. And I cut that off. That's going to give me that shape. I'll do 2 of those. See that? You see it's kind of like shorter to longer. Yeah. Like that. Shorter to longer. Then we leave that alone. Then we come back in. That's only if you want a bit more length around that front shape. If in doubt, leave it out. Now, what I'm going to do is get my length that I know on the other side. So that was a pull out. It's about that long on the top. And then cut that in. Then I don't want to cut that bit off. So I'll get that and move it out the way. Get rid of it. Disconnect it. And then set that bit into shorter. Now this is a very awkward way of cutting hair to camera. I realize that because I'm trying to show you that. Okay. Now one of the fastest haircutters I know is Ashley Gamble. I wonder how he's going to change his business. Also one of my fastest haircutters and more precise is Philippe Seri. He's very good. He's very good. One of my nice precision workers is Stacey Hayes. She's very, very good. I've got Emma Holmes. She loves her geometry hair cutting. She really understands that as well. And we're going to have a new member of the team joining us straight after COVID, who's just an amazing hair cutter. That's all she does. She's interested in learning color, but she's just an amazing hair cutter. And throughout your career, you'll find that you'll love one or the other, but you've always got to do both. Always got to do both, guys. You've got to understand the haircut to fit the color. People who just cut hair or just color hair, I don't understand that. The reason I don't understand that is because they both play placement, to the haircut. So you got to know if your technician is going to kind of frame the face with some color, that you don't cut it all out. So you're understanding the positioning and the points of the color to the haircut. There's no point in like putting a massive graduation into someone's hair and they've highlighted the back of it and it just looks like someone's, like a bird's pooed on their head. Do you know what I mean? When you get all those like spots at the back, that's just not a good look. So you need to have synergy between you and your colorist. And the only way you're going to do that is to learn them both. And if you're just a colorist, you should know how to cut hair. I mean, one of the most famous colorists that I know can't cut hair for toffee. And I find it very unusual because I know I could pick her color up and color exactly the same. Because I enjoy the job, I enjoy the process, I enjoy the whole experience, from styling to cutting to coloring to graphics to whatever you want to do with hair. I have a good understanding. Yeah, I may not be as good as them, but I'm pretty good. I'm good at color correction because I understand the science of it as well. I go into the science of it, and also I have a wicked team of colorists who just kind of go, yep, you've learned that from experience. And everything will become experience, guys. You'll learn from your experience. We all do. We're all built on memories. Some of those that we choose to tune into, we take ourselves back there to our memories. Whether they be good, whether they be bad, we like to kind of tune ourselves into our memories for some reason. I do find it very unusual that it's human nature to punish yourself, to go back to a memory where it gave you anxiety. And I think, because our brain is a 2 million year old device, it's not built to make us happy. It's built to kind of make us stay alive and survive. So I was reading a little study on that the other day, and I kind of went, yeah. So we have to really train ourselves to be happy, really train yourself to kind of not go to those memories that give you anxiety or sadness or fear, because we'll play them over and over again. But what's the end result? Misery and suffering. So always go to your good memories. If you feel a bad memory popping in your head, go to a good memory. Do you know what I mean? Just like there's a bad memory, it's coming in. Okay, let's pull on and bring a good memory in. Let's dampen that sound down. Let's boom, we're back. There you are. And then the more you do that, you subconsciously will get better. I mean, it's a great form of living. Remember your good memories. Remember those ones that made you smile. So get 3 memories in your head now for me. Get 3 memories in your head. No, don't go to that bad memory. I just said that. Don't go to your bad memory. Go to your good memory. Ready? You got it. Get 3 good memories. Those that made you go, oh, what a day. Maybe it's a beach. Maybe it's a sunset. Maybe it's a wedding, a party, a dance. Maybe something like that. Go with that. Okay, 3. Okay, so you got the 1. And you got the 2. Okay, now think of that 3rd one. Surely you've got 3 good memories. 3 good memories. Look at me ducking into this haircut. I'm going to remember these days for the rest of my life. Some good, some weird, some amazing, and some bad. But I don't want those ones. They can piss off. Watch this. Now we're changing this. Look. Moving it over. I want to stay in shot with you here, guys. I want to stay in shot with you. Look. So I'm moving that. I'm pushing that weight over onto my fingers there. Yeah, look at that. Now I'm trying the palm to palm cutting. Trying the palm to palm cutting just to show you. Look, palm to palm cutting. Small section. Ready? Ooh. Now we're in. Duck into that shape. Get into that shape. Now, look, I'm over in my other side. I've only got a couple more sections to go, and then we're done. Then we're on to the top. And this is there's a science to the top of the haircut. So Now, what I find myself doing, I'm going to move myself over here, just so you can see. So, I will cut here, here, and here. See my body lower, and my eye line lower. So, ready, watch. I'm up the top, I'm cutting, then I'll lower, pull out again, then I'll come right over the other side of the haircut now. I'll put energy into my work. You know, you put energy into your work. Don't stay stationary. Put it in. All right, so now that I'm at the top, pulling the weight down, coming to the side, comb it over. You guys that are sticking by, you are going to be excellent hairdressers. Those guys that have made the effort to turn up every single Monday, and I know who you are. I know who you are. I've seen your faces popping up. I might send you out a little treat later. When I get my email working, I'll send you out a little treat. I might send you out like a little discount on my courage and cutting course, because those people that have followed me all the way through, I want to spend some real good time with you. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know what you want out of life. I want to know where you want your goals and your career to go. And maybe you can be amazing. In fact, everybody has that possibility of being amazing. Okay, so they're the sides. And I'm going to talk you through the sides quickly before I go on to the top. And then we're nearly there. Then we're going to take a little break, because obviously I talk a lot. My mouth gets dry. Okay, so I'm loving this. And then we'll go into the refinement, the finishing, the how to finish short hair. A lot of it is about how we, fine hair. So I want to show you something now. So here we go. Right on there is the length. So we've got this shape all the way through. Shape. And then it continuously just gets a little bit longer as it comes round. And what we're looking for there is a nice bit of bulk in that back shape. So I know you can't probably see this because it's red hair, and red hair absorbs the light a little bit. So it's kind of like looking a little bit of a darker shadow. But what we've got now is, look how long that hair is there. And the way I'm going to show you that is I'm going to pull this up like this. Ready? Let me just get a good grip on that. Okay, so have a look. Ready? I'm going to pull that out. Can you see it? It's a little bit longer, but see how the shortness, you see it just like gathering a little bit of length and momentum. So we've got the shortness, and then it just gradually gets a little bit weightier towards that back shape. And that is what you're looking for. A nice bit of weight there. That's beautiful. You don't want to go too short there, guys, because it makes it too androgynous. But look at that shape there. So you can see it gradually getting longer. And we've kept our little pixie sides as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, we've got so many choices with the top of the haircut. So many choices. I'm going to show you a really cool choice. And that would be to have a longer haircut. So most of the haircuts that you do will be made up of this haircut and this technique. Every short haircut that you do, you'll choose that tiny little variation. You're welcome. It's easy. Short hair is easy. Once you get it, get confident with it. Now, in my courage and cutting course, I really go into this because I try and get you to use different lengths. Now, let's see what this haircut looks like with just leaving the top longer, okay? So now we've got a Karen haircut. Do you know the Karen? They call it in the USA, they call it a Karen because every single mum wanted this haircut. But look. So now you've got a nice little undercut. You can have a little fringe. That shape now, you can choose. And you won't have all the bulk of that haircut, all the bulk of the sides kind of getting in the way. So that's how you undercut a haircut. So the same haircut, but just undercut. Easy, see? Something clicked there, didn't it? Now, what we're going to do, we want to kind of get all that hair nice and short on top. But I do want a little bit of a longer fringe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to section off the back shape. So that's where I'm going to end up. Now, if you wanted some like little cheeky disconnections in there, or something like that, or a longer piece, then put those little sections back in. Again, sometimes you can overcomplicate something. I know a lot of hairdressers, they just like to smash and grab. Something's going on with this. Bear with me a second. There we go. Right. So what's going on with my... Okay, so now, ready guys? We're going to come into the back shape. You're still with me? You have a choice here. You can come off squarer and then reconnect the haircut afterwards. So what I like to do is kind of play around my length here, and then I'll connect the sides and the top afterwards. Why do I do that? It's just something that I do. And you'll all have your own little habits. Notice that I've gone for a bigger comb as well, but we don't need that. But I automatically grab a bigger comb for the top of the hair. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe that's my feeling. Let me go back to my shorter comb. Let me go to my shorter comb. Okay. So, nice clean sections now. So we've got the back. What we're going to do is we're going to pivot. So we're going to use our triangular pivot. Okay, so we're going to pivot round like this, like a pie shape, like this. Okay, and we're going to go to the shape of the head. We're going to go with a curvature of the head. So we're pulling everything 90 degrees to the head. Okay, nice and simple, guys. But you're going to ask me, how do you know what length? Well, depending on the desired outcome of what you've chosen. But there is a rule of thumb here. Do you know where we left that little bit of length here at the back? Remember that bit? See it there? See it there? There it is. Look. That's the length I'll go to, but a tiny bit shorter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull that up, and that's why, that's why I always leave that bit of length. Now I'm going to cut. But then I'm going to re-pick that. I'm going to cut. You can put a little arch into your fingers or keep them squared depending on the outside. Now that to me, a little bit long. It's a little bit long, that is. So I'll come back in. I just want to kind of nail that off a little bit shorter, because I want that kind of short, messy crop today with a little bit of a longer fringe. Okay. That, if you cut a woman's hair that short, they're freaking out. But they love it. Okay, then we move that hair away, and then we move our section, we move our body round, and then we cut. And then we cut. And then you're gradually picking up the hair around this side, but don't kind of come in too much, keep it on the curvature. Move around your section, like that. Pull the hair directly up, find your guide. Find your guide. Make sure you don't cut into your guide. Now I'm cutting the hair off in more of a, a club cut, straight cut all the way through. You can point cut this out to get a bit more softness, but I'm changing the shape. Now it's going to start disconnecting from the sides, because these sides, remember, these sides are shorter. So now all you're doing is following your guide from the top. Yeah, don't follow the underneath now. You've got your new guide. Follow that, and I'll show you why in a minute. Just kind of concentrate on just being up into the top of the haircut and following your guide. Yeah, because there'll be a disconnection here that we'll get off later. And that's all depending on how high you took your ride or ridge. So depending on whether you took it up there, or low. A lot of people go really low and then they get too much hair over the top. So try and kind of get a bit more comfortable in taking your horseshoe section a little bit higher. Okay. Cut that. When I see my girls in my salon, hi girls by the way, cut a wicked haircut, it makes me so proud, because they're developing, you're learning, you're getting better and better. And when you're better at your job, you have so much more fun with it. Remember water as well, keep the hair wet. You have so much more fun when you're better at your job. So in your early years, all you work on is being better than you was yesterday. You keep evolving, developing, wanting to be better than you was yesterday. It's human nature to want to be better. Otherwise, we would die out. Do you know what I mean? We grow older, we grow wiser, we like new things, we do new things, we learn from our mistakes. We choose to either make the mistakes twice or not make the mistakes. We choose to live in a better state of mind, a beautiful state. You know, I've chosen now to delegate myself, or dedicate myself. Let me start that again. I have chosen to dedicate myself to live in a beautiful state, in a better life. I choose not to suffer. I choose to have great things, because naturally I do great things. I mean, I've done some amazing things. I remember I've crossed the Arctic, you know, and that just came about, you know. Last year, what did I do last year? I challenged myself. I rowed for 18 hours in a bloody rowing boat, a canoe. Yes, a paddle and canoe, and I traveled hundreds of miles. I think 100 miles. I can't remember. It was so, I mean, my arms, my body, everything was aching. It was on my Instagram. If you scroll down, you'll see some videos on my Instagram of me doing that challenge. And that was because there was a guy that I saw cutting hair in a wheelchair. He was cutting hair in a wheelchair, guys. Like a stand-up wheelchair. And he could have chose to give up hairdressing, but he didn't. You know, and being a stand-up kind of person, you know, I always stand up. I can't sit at a dinner table too bloody long, I tell you. I'm a guy that likes to cook for people and entertain, you know. So there we go. That's looking lovely. So look at that shape now. But yeah, I decided to get in a rowing boat for charity and just use my arms like he uses his arms. Okay. So there's a nice shape now. Yeah, you can see that. Got a nice little bit of hair there. That's coming over there. That's feeling really nice. And then you just kind of got a nice bit of texture you can work with. That length then just gradually gets shorter. You know, you can kind of crop that in. It's a really lovely like heart shape to that haircut as well. Really lovely. Now the front side is where you can choose differently. Now I am going to get my bigger comb. Right. So if we think about what the head shape looks like, if she was bald, it curves, and it curves that way, and it curves that way. So if you cut a square shape on that haircut, that's going to be longer than the middle point. So be aware of that. If you cut it even, it's always going to be even. And if you curve, and the opposite direction as well. So let's say if you wanted to kind of have a longer fringe on her, you'd come out, you'd kind of cut that, and you'd go straight. And the distance between there and there is different to there and there. Simple. But which one do I choose, and why, and how, and when? Well, if in doubt, you just do the fringe later. But I'm going to show you a nice simple tool. Is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that shape first, just straight through, because I want a bit of a longer fringe. Yeah, so I'm going to come through there. I'm going to put a slight bend on it, so I still have a bit of fringe, but not that long. I don't want it that long. I just want it to kind of bend in like that. So I'm going to take my first section all the way down the middle. I'm going to show you how to do that. Always keep the hair wet. Don't let it dry out, guys. Don't let it dry out. Always use your priming products as well. There we go. So I'm going to section right down the middle. Right down the middle. And I mean, again, this is a similar technique that I used on my gents haircut. There are only so many ways you can cut hair. And the more haircuts you do, you'll realize that. Okay, so now I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to move that bit away. And make sure I've got all the hair in there. Okay, now look, there's my back section. There's the back section. Okay. Stabilize it by putting one hand on the head. There it is. Okay. Now I'm going to cut that off like that, straight through. And re-pick it up again. Curve. Now I'm going with the curve of the head a bit. Just a bit. Not all the way. Okay. Because like me curving all the way now would be like this. And that would give me a really short front. So now I'm just going to pull that up. I'm just going to go a little bit longer. So I can like refine the fringe afterwards. like that. So we've got a nice little short croppy section through there. You can see the fringes come down quite long. Do you know what I mean? It's not a croppy fringe. It's a little bit of a fringe that's a little bit longer. And you have to kind of pay attention to that because of recession areas, such as the, the outside. Now, you have a few choices here now. You can continue in straight lines, going back and through the head. That's pretty much what I'm going to do now. But what I'm going to do is start I'm going to start pivoting them. So I'm going to pull this up. I love cutting the top bit because I always know that I'm at the end. Okay. And all my hard work has been put in a lot of energy into the sides of the haircut. The top kind of counts for, I'm going to texturize it, put the fringe in, stuff like that. But there's a lot of precision work that goes into the sides and the back of a haircut. And that's probably the least thing they see is the sides and the back. But we tend to get to the top and kind of maybe fluff it up a little bit. Have you ever had a client, right, get this, right, you can all relate to me here, guys. Have you ever had a client where you're cutting their hair and you're literally probably, I'd say a good 50% all the way through the haircut, and then they say these words, "Oh, that looks a bit short." How does that make you feel? Your heart picks up a pace. Your chemicals start to imbalance. Your concentration levels, awareness. Your eyes will widen. And that's called fear. And then you've got a choice, fight or flight. Laugh about it, not laugh about it. Reconnect with them. You all know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's a bit short. I remember one person saying to me once, they said to me, "Please don't cut it short over the ear this time." Guess what I did? As I was getting around it, right, I'm cutting around it. Going, yeah, that's going to look really nice, yeah. So I'm cutting around the ear shape. And then I got that. She just totally asked you not to do that. And you did it. Hey man, we're all human. If you are asked not to do something, guess what sometimes you focus on? I mean, they kind of do that in child's play, don't they? In child psychology. Don't push the red button. Don't push the red button. What a kid going to want to do? All he's going to want to do is push the red button. I mean, I watched a lot of Darren Brown stuff, and sometimes that's how I work on my leadership skills. I'm working on my leadership skills. I try to tell them, what I want them to do rather than what I don't want them to do, because the don't and the don't, kind of sits in there. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. In fact, it has the opposite effect. They start to do that. So I'm just pulling this hair up, going through the shape. I'm going to show you a little bit different on the other side. 1 second. And just last section, pull that in and just get that in there. Love it. All right, we've got a nice little long bit of hair here somewhere. There it is. Let's re-pick that up. Looking nice. That's lovely. Now, guys, I've got a question for you. Have any of you guys shared this yet? Let me know if you shared this. Give me some shares. Like, share it out there. They could come in. They can join into the YouTube now. Just kind of drop it into your Instagram inbox. Plow down on it and just get them up. Okay? Right. So now we're on the second side of that haircut. Okay, you could kind of have an asymmetric haircut. You can do anything with this. Just depends on the way you want this cut. Okay, so we're going to come through. You're going to watch it from a different angle now. Okay. So, straight through. I've got a little snag there. Okay. Section this away. There we go. Get in there. That section there. Okay. I'm going to pick that up. There's not much hair to cut on that bit. Comb up, comb directly into it. Cut. Let's just make sure I've got no longer hairs there. You see how long that fringe is, but how short we've gone on the top. I love texturizing short hair, so I'm going to give you loads of different techniques on how to cut short hair in a minute and how to texturize it. You see, look, I've gone there. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. But then there's a way to connect all of this together. It's like that bit where it just comes all together at the end. And sometimes throughout a whole haircut, you do not know the result until the end, because that's when your artist's eye come in. That's where you really come in and you kind of go, right, that needed to be a bit shorter. That needed to be a bit shorter. But as long as you've got the base shape and you've got the form and the structure and everything that you like about the haircut in, and you know that technique works, when you come to dry it, you may find yourself cutting off a lot more hair than you wanted to, you know, or planned to in the beginning, because you've got an eye for it then in its natural form. I was watching some comedy this morning, and something that came up, and it was quite a funny thing that came up. It said, I answered a questionnaire when I went to the hairdressers this morning. He said it was the weirdest thing. They said, well, if you want an appointment, you've got to fill out this questionnaire. And he said, well, I'm here. Why do you need a questionnaire? And there was 10 questions. And on one of those, the question was, from 1 to 10, how dry is your hair? And he said, I don't get that. Do you know what I mean? Like the terminology, 1 to 10, how dry is your hair? Well, right now, I'd say my hair is definitely dry. I would say it was 10. I mean, if you'd asked me this morning, I just got out of the shower and perhaps used a little towel on my head and that would be a 4. Definitely a 4 as I came there. But usually my hair is dry at a 10 state. We know what they meant. But remember when you're talking to your clients and you're using these fancy words and you're trying to say certain stuff, they won't understand. So remember who you're talking to. They're not professionals. That's a big tip as well. Terminology. So I'm going to use a disconnection, a horizontal, I'm going to sculpt. I'm going to shape. Use terminology that they're going to love. Okay, so now we're at the sides here. What we're going to do, just resection that out, pull that in. Watch this. Now we're just going to blend the bridal ridge. Go back to the small comb. Okay, we're going to re-pick a section. And now we're going to blend the top to the sides. And we're going to do that by doing this. Look. Yeah, just connect that off. And just scoot that back. I like a little bit of scoop at the front, just so I don't go too short. Look. There we go. Just get that off. Keep working through. And just connect your points now. There won't be that much. Nothing there. It's just those tiny little sides there. Same on the other side. I'll show you this side. Okay, so section out a bit of there. Connect the sides in. This is just reconnecting your sides if you've got too much overhang. Sometimes I like an overhang. I like it there. Okay, so pull it out. Find your angle. And cut. Find your angle. And cut. Now, I don't know if you guys have followed a guy called Paul Watts. He's got a great YouTube channel. Good morning, Paul Watts. How are you, sir? If he's already in there, if he's still in there, he's got a great channel. I love his channel. It's pretty much a diary of a hairdresser. He's got a few salons as well. He's quite the entrepreneur. Okay, now I'm going to pull this back. Now I'm perhaps going to just kind of texturize that front section. If in doubt, leave it out and see what happens there. I've got long hair here. Let's find out where you're from and cut you off. Missed a hair there. All right, so there's no texture in there at all. Okay, so there's no texturizing. That's just all pure form haircut. And then you got to decide, obviously which way she wears it, which way is going to fit best for her. But this is a classic short haircut. It's a classic one. She's got a little bit of a fringe. We're going to cut the fringe in afterwards as well. So let me have a look through that haircut. Ready? So here it is. Nice and short into the sides. This all needs reworking afterwards. The refinement. Then we've got a side fringe. We've got a full fringe if we want it. We haven't really kind of chose the fringe. I'm just kind of showing you the workshop of how we kind of get there. Then, you know, she could go, you know, if you want it a little bit more old-fashioned. And it's how you style short hair will be the way it looks modern or non-modern, the way you texturize it, modern or non-modern. So let me give you an instance here. If you put the crown back, like that, and then you put in a sweep on the side and you put a nice big crown in like that, that's more elegant. Okay, so the crown comes backwards, you get the volume, and then it's there. If you want it a little bit more kind of edgy, draw it a little bit more forward, less crown, a little bit more forward, a little bit more straighter, and a lot more choppy, and then you get more of that kind of feel. You can undercut the sides. Then it's the detail or the softness that you put in around the edge. So if you sharpen that edge, there'll be a funkier haircut. If you texturize it, it's a softer haircut. Very simple, very easy, nice and learn. I hope you enjoyed that so far, guys. I'd love to see you back after the break. I'm just going to go for a little break now. Okay, we're in, guys. I've got my nice noisy hairdryer now. Switched over to a Dyson. There's loads of new hairdryers out at the minute. This has always been one of my favorite hairdryers to use. It's the Cloud9 hairdryer. It's inexpensive, quite like it. You know, sometimes you blow dry with a nozzle and without a nozzle. Now, the difference between drying with a nozzle is that you get more of a direct air kind of burst and it's more streamlined. If you take the nozzle off, and I'll show you that in a minute, and that will give you more of a burst where the hair then more separates. So styling short hair is an art form. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my vent brush. I'm going to dry down, not too hot. Just watch this. So dry your sides in. Start down at the bottom, especially on the doll's heads. They don't like it. They don't like too much air. Start building your picture using that. At the back shape, I'm going from left to right. Left to right. Pushing that down around the ears. Making sure that we've got all the good root direction. There we go, it's coming together now. Look, I can see my shape coming in. I haven't messed it up, it's looking nice. I've got the weight where I want the weight. I'm scanning it through, keeping an eye on where I'm drying, building that picture. Okay, now, come to the front of the haircut. So, depending on which way you're gonna go. So, remember, if you want it a bit funkier, dry the crown down and flat and forward. So over. There we go. Moving the hair around. Keep it fresh. Now you can use your hands to dry hair and use a brush. If you just use your hands, you're going to get more of a separated feel. Give it a nice little direction. You notice that I kind of put a lot of energy in there. I don't really put partings in the haircut until afterwards. Okay. Now, if I want that a little bit straighter, a little bit smoother, I will then use a different brush. Let me just get around the front of this so I can see it in the mirror. Looking nice. Lovely. Now I'll go over to my, if I want it smoother and straight, I'll use my Demon brush. Demon brush will give you a nicer, tighter pull on the hair. Now I'll get you even straighter. And get the shine on there. Look at the shine coming through. There we go. Look at that. Back, sides, in the back there, Let's have a look at that. Let's see where that hair wants to go now. Like, I always get a kind of feeling when I'm drying the hair, like what the end result's gonna be. Just get all that. Now I've primed it with some product, just a light product, nothing too heavy. Following that round, get the angle where you want the angle. See where we want the angles. Yeah. So, you know, some of the products that I like to work with is just a nice little bit of mousse. Just a nice little bit of mousse to kind of work with the hair, just to get a bit of volume in there. And remember to be limited on the products that you use. Sometimes I don't use any product. Literally, I leave the hair just with a leave-in conditioner, something like that. So we're going to sharpen this whole haircut up now in a minute. And remember, if you wanted it a little bit less, you know, a little bit more kind of like a bit more mature, give the crown a backwards. But I like to get all my crown down. Follow that down, especially on these doll's heads. A very nice commercial haircut this, guys. I mean, if you wanted to kind of then like hit it with the straighteners, you're very welcome to do that as well. Okay, there's that. I'm not going to straighten this hair. I'm just going to leave it with its nice little smooth texture. Here we go, guys. So there we have a shorter haircut. You can see there, still got a bit of weight there, a little bit of length. You know, it pretty much looks pretty much done. But what I would like to do now is show you how I refine a haircut. So what I'm looking at now is obviously going around the ears. Okay, so that's the first one. Get the perimeter kind of like looking there. But I always give the client information. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to shape it up around the ears. So move out the fringe. We'll come to the fringe later. That's the kind of last bit. That's the money shot. That's what I like to go to, the money shot afterwards. So we're just going to push that out of the way a little bit. Get that out of the way. We're going to cut around the ear shape here. So what we do is just come in. Support your blade with your finger. Just support that and just kind of like look at your shape. And we're going to come around the ear. And then I'm going to get the client to hold her ear forward. Can you hold your ear forward for me? Thank you. And then we're going to cut there and just point there. Really stabilizing your fingers, guys. Really stabilizing your fingers. You know, don't go too crazy around here. You don't want like no ball bit behind her ear. And that just gives that a nice little sharper shape there. You can see that's just a little bit sharper. The hairlines, you know, you can just kind of go in and just kind of point cut away. I quite like them being a little bit softer. Let's do exactly the same on the opposite side. Push that out the way. Come in here and just, you know, look at your destination. It's just behind the ear. Just get that there. Push that up. Right, look at that. There we go, nice little detail shape. When I get into my little kind of point cutting shapes, I go really into myself, just kind of like little concentration. You know, there's something you want to kind of really pay attention to is, you know, these little kind of fine bits is where you really come to bring the haircut together. Just around the face shape here, we're just going to come in. We're just going to texturize around there. See what that does. And then go back to this side. Obviously, we've got a little bit of heaviness there, so we're just going to point cut that away, get a little bit of a curve on that. Just push that away. Now, you've got a choice. You can join that fringe in that way or that way. Which way shall we go, guys? Left or right? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at her. Left or right? I think she wants to go that way. So what we're going to do is I want to join that section in and get that curve now. So I'm going to use the heel of the blade. I'm just going to push that away. And let the hair just fall away. Then I'm going to come back in and just slice it out again. Going to come in and slice that again in the direction that I want the hair to flow. So I want the fringe to go over this way. That's how this works. You just push and texturize, and from the short hair to the longer hair, that's how you push that hair away. So come in again, we'll start again. Okay, just using the heel, open and close, open and close, open and close, heel in, open and close, open and close, and just slice that heaviness away from her face. Get some nice texture in there. Don't be scared of this, guys. Just kind of follow a nice little pattern, just nice little cuts, just open and close, and let the blade sliver down the haircut. Okay, let it sliver through the hair. There we go. Keep going through there. The more texture you put in, the better separation you're going to get, the better variety of styles you're going to get, the more she's going to enjoy her haircut. And then obviously the product that we're going to use. So I'm going to keep coming back through there until I kind of feel like I'm really nice and comfortable with it. Look at that. I can see that really lightening off, and it's looking really nice. And the reason that I'm pushing that fringe this way is that I'm always going to get that flow. You can see it kind of like really coming together. I'm going to get that flow. I'm just going to keep pushing that until I feel that lengths come away as well. And I just like to kind of keep doing this until I'm really happy with it. Really happy with it. Now you can get through the haircut. You can now do something that's going to upset the texture. So you can get the scissor and you can just run it back on the opposite direction now and just run it through the hair like this. You know, and this is just going to kind of slice the hair through. Nice bit of deep texturizing, and you'll see that the hair will start separating. Just going to change my blade, change it over, and just keep running it through like that. This can drag on the hair, so be very, very careful. If you're using a horrible scissor and you haven't bought yourself a nice Akito scissor, it's gonna really hurt the hair. Then we can push off the hair, we can hold it up, and we can just heel those bits out. Just heel those little sections out. You know, just kind of push those in, heel those sections out, heel it out. Just get a nice bit of there. Just really lighten that up, and you'll see that come through. Then through the top section, I'm going to elevate the hair a bit. I'm going to deep point cut. I'm going to deep point cut. You know, this is really going to give you a heavy texture. Then we're going to come into the root after that section. Yeah, so now in, point cut with a blade, open and shut, open and shut, open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to do some, a little bit of hair talk afterwards, after we finish this. If you want to kind of stay in the chat, I want to kind of like, just kind of see how you are. Get your questions ready for me, whatever you want to ask me. It could be anything, you know. I'm quite a good life coach at the same time, because when I teach, I like to teach with energy. I like to teach with positivity, and I do get, those times where I'm not positive, and I don't like it. So I teach myself how to, undo that. I put a post out the other day is, let's unfuck ourselves. Do you know what I mean? That's quite a. Let's unfuck ourselves. This situation fucked us. Let's unfuck it. What can we do in this situation? Now, look, here we go. Just keep working a little bit of texture through there, a little bit of point cutting into the root. That's looking lovely. Now I'm going to look at this fringe. I'm going to see how that fringe is. Now I'm going to elevate her up and just nip that shape off there. And just nip those little pieces off there as well. And just try and kind of get that nice little finish on there. Just going to now just concentrate on the edges. Just concentrate on those edges. That's nice. Now I want a little bit more texture in there, so I'm going to elevate that up. I'm going to push the hair in, push my blade into the root area, just texturize into that way. And then we're going to do a little bit of refining. Now be very careful around the crown, because obviously if you go too short, so what I like to do is just hold that in my fingers around the crown and just point cut around the crown, because you get a tiny little bit of hair there that's going to stick up. She ain't going to like you forever. She's not going to like you for about 2-3 weeks. It's not going to work. She's going to hate her haircut for about 2-3 weeks if you cut that crown too short. I'm coming in there. Like that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to scissor over comb. We're going to refine. Okay, so we're going to lift her up. I'm going to come underneath that part of the haircut. I mean, I could spend hours on this haircut, but you just have your kind of go-to areas. Okay, so now, like, let's say we want a kind of nice, interesting hairline. Yeah, so let's just go with, let's just go with the nice little arch. We can take that off there like that. Point cut, point cut, point cut. If you want it softer, go for softer. I'm just going to go for a nice little soft arch. You get a really nice shape in there. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to disconnect this bottom edge, and just going to scissor over comb a little bit. Scissor over comb there. Scissor over comb. That's just refining all those little edges off, yeah? Yeah. Watch this. Here, comb in. Nice big comb as well, slides through the hair a lot easier. Open and close your blade as you travel through the haircut. Open and close your blade as you travel through the haircut. Go with the flow of the haircut that you wanted as well. Nice, quick and easy as well. You've got the shape in there. Yeah, you can point cut the sides in a little bit if you wanted to. Channel these areas out a little bit more, refine it up, depending on what you want the desired look to be. Come back in here. In. Disconnect this, put your scissor in, hold that over. That's it, point cut the edges. Point cut the edges. Get a bit of that weight moving around the back. We're nearly there, guys. Let's get a little bit of shape going on in here. I mean, I could keep going on this and going on this, but you're getting the foundation, the principles of how to cut short hair. I'd use a clipper around the edges. That's easy to use as well. So let's see what we've got just on there, because I'm keen to obviously get onto the questions and answers section and get to know all you guys, just see where you're at. Right, so there we have the haircut there. Let me give that a little blast out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the nozzle off the hairdryer, get rid of all that loose hair, and then when I'm looking in the mirror, see what we've got going on. Looking in the mirror, like blast it off a bit. And because you've got the hairdryer off the nozzle, it gives it a real burst of air. I don't put any partings into the hair as well. Remember that, there's no partings in my haircuts. I put those in later. Let's see what we got. Give it a little kind of twist with your fingers. Get the texture in there. Get the texture in there. Now we're trying to kind of pick up the shorter hair, the longer hair. Get the movement in there. And get that off her face. Have a look. Check it with her. Say, are you happy with that? Is there any bit you want me to change? You're quite happy with the haircut that I've done? Do you want it shorter over the ears, shorter on the fringe? Really bespoke it. At this point, you have a real kind of chance of bespoking that haircut for them to their absolute need. Now, what we're going to use. So I've got a product here called molding paste. And it's quite a creamy product to use by Schwarzkopf Session Label. And if you see that there. Schwarzkopf Session Label. Yep. Let's focus on that. There. Now, got a little bit of that in there. So it's all down to the hands. This is a very, very, very little clever technique as well. So I'm just going to lower her down a little bit. Okay, so we've got a little bit of product in our hand there. Now put that in your hand like that. And then really warm it up. Really get it into your fingers, on your fingertips. That's where you want it. On your fingertips. Yeah, now watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. So we're gonna go in. Yeah, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go in. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go in. And then we're just gonna find that little haircut there. And then we're separated. We've got a little, nice little side fringe on there. And then we're gonna just put a little bit into the edges there as well. That's gonna be lovely. We're gonna then have a little look into the mirror, see what kind of finish we've got on there. Little zigzag partings, whatever you want. Just move that hair to where you want it. She wants it a bit more messy. You know, you can go a bit more spikier with her. You know, you could just, there's so many, like, look, I could just show you so many different ways just by using your hands and really kind of sculpting the hair and what kind of look you want. You know, that's what kind of haircut, what kind of style is she? Play around with it and you'll see her smile come in, or you'll see her not. You know, you'll see her, oh, she's into that. She's into that. Like, get some, bring the shape out now. Bring the shape out. You know, so I'm looking at the back shape now. I'm bringing that shape out a bit. Getting my fingers, raking that hair, pushing that in there, sculpting that down. Let's move that in, left, right. Think about the haircut. Look at it. Look through the mirror. Have a look through the mirror. See how she's loving her new haircut. She's liking that. That's going to be 90 quid, please, at the end. You're going to buy some products with that. You know, she's going to have to use these little bits of products. You know, that sort of style, that's lovely. Okay, so let's say we wanted it a little bit more kind of like, that's nice and choppy, elegant, whatever. You've got the short disconnections on the fringe. That works there. But if she wanted it a little bit softer, you know, just kind of maybe comb it all into one direction. Flatten it down. Flatten it down. Get it a bit smoother. You know, just a little bit of texture, using the rake of your hands, finishing that off, and that's just a little bit softer for her. You know, nice, soft definition. You know, she Emma Watson red carpet. So there's so many different ways you can kind of manipulate short hair. And you've got to find that one. My favorite, again, I'm going to show you one more time, just one more time. This is what I've done. I learned this when I was 16 years old, and I still use it to this day. I grab a bit of hair, I move it over. I grab another bit of hair, I move it over. I grab another bit of hair, I move it over. I grab another bit of hair, I move it over. I grab another bit of hair, I move it over. And then, you know, it just kind of makes it a little bit cooler, a little bit funkier. You know, I hope you like it. You know, there she is. There's your short, lovely. You've got little sides on there. She don't feel too bald. You've got a nice little shape round there. That's giving you that little funky arch. You've got your weight in the back here to give you that nice little silhouette. That is how you cut short hair, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Now remember, I want you to be laughing today. I want you to find that friend. I need you to pick them up, and I want you to make them laugh. Because there is people out there now that you haven't heard of, and the reason that you've not heard of them is they're a little bit down. I want you to connect with your friends all day today. I want you to stay on the phone to all your friends today and tell them fucking something funny. Make them laugh. Laugh together, guys. Thank you so much.